Welcome back to another episode of Boom or Bust, your home for NFL Draft Talk. I'm your host, Terry, and today I want to give my real quick thoughts on the Jets trading with the Colts for the number 3 pick. So, in case you weren't not aware, the Jets have moved up from 6 to 3 in the draft, swapping picks with the Colts. From what I could tell, it looks like the Jets gave up, of course, their number 6, but they gave up 2 second rounders this year and the second rounder for next year. So the Colts for moving back 3 spots, they got a really good haul. I mean, you still are in the top 10, you right outside the top 5, and second round picks are valuable, especially in this draft where I think there's a lot of really good solid starter type players. All mushed into one category, and some are going to get pushed into the second round because somebody's going to trade, somebody's going to reach, blah, blah, blah. And so I think having second round picks is absolutely valuable in this draft. And then you get an extra one next year. I think they came away with a great haul. Now, the only thing with that is that, some people might feel that the Colts are in such a bad straits that they need some top 5 talent. And so going back to 6 might take them out of the run for one of the premium defensive players that they might need. But hey, anyway, I'll get to that in a second. What I really want to say though is how does this affect kind of the top order and everything? I hear some people kind of making outlandish claims. So my actual answer might be surprising. I don't think it affects it that much. And I say that because by hook or by crook, we felt that the first 3 picks were going to be quarterbacks. At this point in the way the NFL works, if you are a quarterback, or if you're one of those considered first round quarterback prospects, you're going to go way early than you should, and you're going to go really high. And so teams understand that they pretty much have to trade up to the very ceiling of a player's draftability in order to get a quarterback. And so with quarterbacks of this caliber, I think everybody understood that the first 3 were going to be quarterbacks. And so in order to get in on that sweepstakes, you gotta have a lot of money to play that game, because at this point, we know that teams are going to trade up to get the guy they want, even if they aren't that talented. And last year proved that. And so it's like a game of musical chairs, and no GM wants to be caught with no chair in the end, standing alone. And so the price of admission, as I said, is pretty steep. But that's kind of the precedence that's been set until that trend changes. That's kind of where we are. And so again, with the Browns doing what they're doing, with the Giants, and then whoever was going to go to 3, or if the Colts were going to play ball, we all pretty much assume the first 3 picks will be quarterbacks. One way, like I said, by hook or by crook. And so now the Jets made themselves a player by taking that spot. Now, the real shakeup happens at number 2. That becomes the question. Not what the Jets just did, but what the Giants will do. And the Giants could break the whole 3 quarterback chain, because the Browns pretty much understand that right now at 4, they're not going to be able to get their quarterback, because they don't know what the Giants are going to do. And so they, of course, need to be smart and take their guy at number 1. The Giants, however, could mix it up, because the Jets, we know, are taking the quarterback, but the Giants, if they want to roll with Eli, and they do have Webb Davis, let's not forget that they spend a premium pick on. And so if they want to roll with that and say they take a Saquon Barkley, then that's when things are going to get funky, because Jets will have their choice of 2 quarterbacks. We know they're going to pick one. And then that's when things can get a little hairy, because we're going to have teams scrambling to come back up and get a quarterback. If the Giants aren't looking at a quarterback seriously, then I think they'll have that pick traded before the draft, kind of like we saw with the Jets. And teams are understanding that. Instead of waiting for draft night, they are trying to get those deals done. And so, again, if the Giants trade out prior to the draft, then I think they might have played their hand. And if they stay in it and pick Saquon, you know what? That, I think, again, like I said, or even if it's somebody else, if it's a non-quarterback, it's going to start shaking things up. And then we got to talk about where Bradley Chubb ends up and Minka and all those guys. But as it stands right now, I think 3 quarterbacks is kind of what we're expecting. But the Giants kind of hold the cards and how they want to turn it out. Now, of course, the Browns could turn it out too with number 1, but I don't see that making any sense because now they do have 4. Jets aren't moving. So if they don't go quarterback at 1, and let's say the Giants and Jets do, the buck stops with the Browns. So they could conceivably come away with one of those quarterbacks. But, you know, do you like all 3 equally that much, or, you know, that you'll gamble? I think they take their guy at number 1. So, definitely some shake up with this trade, but I think the Giants, are the ones that could really, mess with the top, of the draft order. So, anyway, those are my thoughts. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about the trade. Do you think that the Giants could possibly still take Saquon, or do you think it's a lock that they take quarterback? Go to the comment section. Let me know. Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around, and thank you for listening.